Welcome everybody to our monthly webinar from Bolide Technology. I'm Stephen Frias, and here with me is our sales manager, Ken Miguel.
Hey Stephen, how are you?
Doing good, sir. And we also have Mike, our technician. How are you doing, sir?
You're great, Stephen.
Excellent. Today we are going to have a discussion on our mobile video surveillance solutions and products. We'll be starting off by going over our mobile camera line, then moving on to our mobile video recording solutions, reviewing the product features and options. And finally, scalability, how the whole system architecture integrates together and the benefits of using Bolide's mobile video products. Please feel free anytime to type in any questions you may have, and we will go over them at that point, and then we will wrap up at the end with questions. Now I will just go ahead and throw it to Ken.
Thank you, Stephen, and again, thank you everybody for joining us in today's pretty interesting discussion about our latest mobile video surveillance solutions. So it's obvious the purpose of this product line is to protect assets while on the road. And as far as applications, this applies to all kinds of industries. I'm going to go over a few examples. You have delivery trucks and vans, so we're talking logistics companies, parcel companies, any company that does some kind of delivery service. They can use our mobile DVR solution. Armored trucks, even motorcycles. You've got public transportation, very important, school buses, protect kids while they're on their way to school and back. We have taxis, trains, public buses. Also, you've got law enforcement, police cars and vans, vehicles that transport prisoners or any kind of passenger. You've got watercraft, fishing boats, yachts, cargo vessels, all have use for our mobile DVR and camera solutions. Now you may ask, what's the difference between today's mobile video solutions compared to, solutions that came out in the past? Well, today we're going to go over why. You can tell this is more than just recording video. Our mobile DVR solution does video recording, audio recording. It's got two-way audio, as well as a slew of additional features such as GPS tracking. You have electronic geofencing. You have an intercom system integrated. You have multiple sensors that gather data that you can analyze to measure efficiency in your business. We're talking mileage sensor, speed sensor, fuel sensor, alarm sensor, and even a panic button. And again, we're going to go over every feature and function of this DVR and the cameras. Okay, so let's start with the mobile camera line. We have 3 models available with different mounting options and functions. The first one, we have a rear view camera. So you look at this picture, it's perfect for delivery trucks, like a bobtail, to watch the rear view of the vehicle. Because for our specs, this is an 800 TV line camera, CMOS sensor. It's a 12-volt camera that's powered by either a power supply or the mobile DVR itself. It's also a waterproof camera. You can that withstand any type of weather condition. Secondly, we have a side view camera. This is also a waterproof camera that can be installed on the interior or exterior of a vehicle. So this is really perfect for watching blind spots of vehicles, maybe a roof of a vehicle or even inside on a ceiling. And we also have a mini eyeball camera. So this is perfect for a bus or a train installed on a ceiling. Okay, we'll give you 800 TV lines. Also has a CMOS sensor with IR. And again, this is all powered by 12 volt DC or the mobile DVR unit itself. So how do you watch the cameras from within the vehicle? We have a 7-inch LCD monitor. A few key features of this monitor: it comes with a U-shaped bracket that allows it to be mounted on a dashboard, as well as an adjustment screw to, be able to tilt it at any angle that you want. This monitor has a 2-channel video input. You can do a quad view of 4 cameras. May be powered by the vehicle battery or, again, the mobile DVR itself. Another key feature of this monitor is a trigger priority. So you can connect this monitor to the shifter of the vehicle. So let's say you have a rear view camera. Once you reverse, the monitor is going to switch to the camera facing the rear view of the vehicle automatically. Now let's get to the good stuff. The actual mobile DVR units. We have 5 different models. We have our MVR 9004 SD. It's a 4-channel mobile DVR that records into an SD card. We have the MVR 9004 SD 3G, which is a 3G enabled mobile DVR that also records into an SD card. And we have our flagship models, which are the MVR 9004 3G, which is a 3G enabled mobile DVR that has a internal hard drive available for recording. We also have an optional MVR 9004 3G with Wi-Fi capability. And we also have an 8-channel mobile DVR 3G enabled with Wi-Fi, but this particular model is a project-based DVR, so it's a special order only. The rest we keep in stock.
It looks like we did have a question here, Ken, if I stop for a second. It looks like we have a question. Is this wireless or is this wired?
Actually it's both. It does have a RJ45 Ethernet plug on the back, as well as if you get the 3G model, it has the 3G connectivity, and if you get the wireless model, it does have a Wi-Fi on it too.
Let's see. And we'll go over pricing individually with everyone as soon as we wrap up this webinar and get this posted. So if there aren't any more questions, let me see. It looks like I have one more. What is the largest SD card it will take, Mike?
Okay, so it takes up to 128 gigabytes per slot. The SD model has 2 slots, so 128 times 2, and the HDD model has 1 slot. So yeah.
Okay, moving on. So let's go over the SD card mobile DVRs. So these DVRs, like Mike said, has records into an SD card on board. This model has 2 SD card slots. maximum of 128 gigabyte per SD card. How does that translate to recording time? So if you have 4 cameras recording at D1 resolution, it's about 4.5 days of recording. Of course, there's different options as far as lowering your video resolution, but this particular model works really. You can use it as a part of a large-scale system, as well as use it as a standalone recording device.
Correct.
Right, Mike?
Right, and the 4.5 days, that's 24/7 recording, so you're not really going to be using it 24/7. Plus, there's other things that factor in, like the GPS tracking, other data that's being transmitted. So it's just a guess of how much data you will be able to have.
This particular model also has a 3G enabled version, so it pushes out data as far as the sensors and analytics to the server via 3G.
Correct. And the question that was asked earlier, any brand or manufacturer, is the Bolide brand. We manufacture this product and we carry it. It's our line, by the way.
Okay, now let's look at the flagship model, the MVR 9004 3G and 3GW. So again, this is a 4-channel unit that will do D1 resolution on all 4 channels. It's got 1 hard drive slot, maximum of 2 terabytes. Okay, so in comparison, 2 terabytes, 4 cameras at D1 is about 14 days of continuous recording. Okay, and like we mentioned, we have an 8-channel version of this model as a special order for projects. Okay, a few functions. It's got motion detection. It's got all the sensors that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Let's look at the profile of this mobile DVR. So here's the front. And as you can tell here, it's got a cover with a latch key, so it prevents tampering if the vehicle is leaving the home facility. Okay, here's the picture with the latch off. You can see the hard drive slot. Again, 1 bay up to 2 terabytes. You have a USB slot on the front, and you've got your SIM card slot over here and your SD card slot. Also, you've got your indicator lights, and you have an audio video out. What is that for, Mike?
Yeah, so audio video out is basically for programming, configuration. As you can see that when the latch is closed, you don't have access to that audio video slot, but comes in really handy when you have to do some configurations. You can lock it up and not worry about anybody having to get to that video.
Here's a rear view of this DVR. You've got your 4 camera outputs. This is aviation cable connection,
Aviation
right?
cable, yes.
So this aviation cable, which functions?
So the beauty of the aviation cable is it provides power, video, and audio out of one cable. So 12-volt out and audio, video in on one cable, which is pretty cool.
Can you use a BNC or J59 cables?
We do have a adapter that we sell separately, and it will allow you to do the BNC.
Okay. So you see here a few outputs. You have your output for your 3G antenna, your GPS. You have your power, another the accessory output, which plays a major role in this DVR's functions, and an RJ45 slot. So what comes with each mobile DVR? Let's start from the left. You have a back cover, so this screws on and it allows you to hide your wires. You have a GPS antenna. You have a 3G antenna. Comes with a remote control. It's got a power cable. It's got the audio video line out. It's got the key for the cover. And of course, your accessory cable. So wiring, like I went over, you use the audio video cable on this AV out if you want to do configuration when this cover is closed.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
So let's look at the back. You can see your GPS antenna and your 3G antenna, as well as power and your RS-45 accessory out. Why is this cable such an important part of this system?
Well, it's very important because all of your sensors and input-outputs are going to come through this cable here. Our RS-45, RS-232, as well as, like I said, the sensors. There's also video out and audio out in this cable as well. So let me just, you can see here that the DVR is basically the heart of the system. It connects wirelessly through 3G, Wi-Fi, GPS, you can see here, which connects to the CMS server, which we'll go over in a little while, and the clients will connect to the server. The DVR also has the capability of the sensors, multi-sensors, which we'll also go over, and the capability of having peripherals for the vehicle like Intercom and its own monitor. So we'll go over each one in detail in a bit.
So Mike, whether you have one mobile DVR or 500 mobile DVRs, how do you manage all these devices?
Okay, great. So our software is called CMS6, and it's basically 3 major parts that go with it as well. 4, you should say, but the CMS Playback is for non-3G only. But basically, we will concentrate on the CMS server, the client, and the mobile app. So, scalability. In terms of small scale, one server can handle from 1 to 200 mobile DVRs. And basically, that server will handle any database, logging into the server. It'll be the gateway, user management, media streaming, and it also acts as a web server. Now, on larger scales, anywhere 200 to 5,000, it's going to require 2 CMS servers. And reason being is, one will control the database, login, gateway, user management, and web server, and one server will be a standalone media server only. So you need that second one to handle the amount of data going through it.
So is a server required for every system?
Yes, a server is required for every system except for the non-3G models, but a server is required.
The non-3G model, you can use the unit itself to record into a local SD card.
Correct.
Without needing to push data onto server.
Correct, and you'll just insert that SD card into your computer, and like I said earlier, we have the Playback, the CMS Playback, which will transfer that data and you'll be able to see it.
So one advantage of using our mobile video solution is that you can have one DVR and you can have 500 DVRs.
Correct.
And it's very easy to scale.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into a little bit about, this is the server manager. As you can see here, it shows you what's running. Like I explained earlier, the login, the gateway, the media. It handles the Wi-Fi, downloads, the storage. If you're familiar with SQL, it also holds the SQL. It does have a watchdog on it as well, so it lets you know who's logged in to your server, their IP address, logs that sort of information. You can configure the web database from here. You can also stop any services. Another cool feature is the SMS config. You could send messages to the actual device. We'll go over that a little bit. History, Wi-Fi configuration is also done here. But that's about it on the server side. As for the GUI, it's all web-based. And you can see here there's the login and your GUI interface right below it, which has most reports, devices, and user management.
So I mean now it's web-based as in you can view this from anywhere.
Correct. Correct.
On any computer.
Correct. And so, and also that will be your only way to really interact with the system is through your web GUI. So inside of our web GUI is basically where we're going to be able to track all of our sensors, mileage, speed, fuel, geofencing, devices that are currently connected to the server, any kind of alarms, inputs, outputs, stuff like that. And you'll be able to see all the devices you have here, just a simple click. You could also export it to an Excel file if you want to have it as a backup on your computer files or something like that.
So not only are you securing your assets, you're also able to measure efficiency of your fleet of vehicles, whether it'll be the miles that they drive, fuel that they're consuming, and if they are going on their correct routes.
Correct. Correct. So it's a real good watcher, if you will. Okay, so this is the CMS client. Now this basically is, aside from the server, this is where you will be able to visually track your fleet. As you can see here, the little car in the middle, that would be the DVR. And from here you can see video, intercom. You see the monitor, that meaning you can just listen to what's going on inside the vehicle. Or you can broadcast and just speak without them being able to talk back. So you have those three options. You can take snapshots of where they're at. It also tells you what video is online, if you have video loss, if they're moving, their speed, mileage. And on the right side is the video. You can actually have multiple devices on the chart here. So you have 9 possible cameras, and you can have one from, if you have 9 different DVRs out, you can have one from each DVR if you want. So that's very cool.
So this map is integrated with Google Maps?
Correct. It is with Google Maps. There is a couple other maps, but Google Maps is the preferred maps to use. It's the most complete. So
how do I track my vehicles? If I have more than one, do I see a few beacons on the screen that shows that my vehicles are moving?
So the way you would track it is you would see, but you're only able to track one at a time. It would show you where your last vehicle was. So you would click on the device, and you can hit the track button, and it'll show the actual movement, its route, and its past places it's been.
And again, this is where the server plays a role.
This is yes.
As the mobile DVR pushes this type of data into your home server.
Correct. So this is, yeah, exactly. This is where the server plays a role, because the server collects the data and you access that data from your CMS client. So you don't typically have to be at the server to collect this data. You can be remote. You can be at the office. You can be at home. And you'll still be able to know what's going on with your fleet. So with the CMS server, the Playback, you have 2 ways to search for your video files. You can do it through actual files or live video. We can see the timeline at the bottom. Just like our normal DVRs, you would see the lines going across. You move your mouse along the timeline, and it'll display that video. And you can see that there's multiple videos or multiple displays from different DVRs on the site.
How many channels can you play at a time?
You can play up to 9 channels at a time, but you can have multiple devices on the site. So even though you're playing the 9, you have a possibility of 9 more ready to go.
On another menu,
yeah.
Another interface.
Yeah.
So you mentioned key features that can be controlled through the CMS software. Now let's talk about all these features. You have the GPS tracking, geofencing, intercom, mileage sensor, speed sensor, fuel, alarm, and panic button. GPS tracking.
So this is probably the one that stands out the most, the GPS tracking. As you can see here, not only does it give you a visual of where your DVR has been, but it gives you a position, a time, status, if it's on or off. It also tells you how long it's been stopped, if it has. On the left side, you can actually control the speed of the tracking. So you want to know, you want to just zoom through, see where he's been the last 5 stops. You don't have to actually watch the whole timeline go. You can just zoom through it. You can select the date, parking minutes. You want to see how long he's been parked. So you're able to search through a parking option. If someone's been there more than 15 minutes, you want to know what's going on. You want to search to see when that happened. You can search it and it'll pinpoint exactly where that stop took place. As you can see in the middle of the screen, a little red stop button saying that he was been stopped, and at that time he was parked for 2 seconds. So very cool the way you can search for things.
Does the GPS tracking consume 3G data?
It does only when giving the data back, and it's basically as much as a text message. It's not much. It's just text. The GPS is its own entity. It's not part of the 3G or Wi-Fi or anything else, just when it's pushing data. But the 3G collects its own data. You don't have to worry about data charges when it comes to that. And
you saw earlier one of the accessories that come with the unit is the a GPS antenna.
Yeah.
That mounts onto your anywhere, dashboard.
Anywhere, preferably on top of the vehicle where there's nothing to obstruct its view. Yeah, and the GPS, once again, is its own entity. It comes with the mobile DVR, and that's just part of the package. Okay, next, geofencing is very important. For those of you who don't know what electronic geofencing is basically you can create a electronic fence or in the map and either have when your mobile DVR comes into that fence or out, have it start to collect data. So for instance, you see the square here, we can have it anytime the vehicle leaves this square, it's going to start tracking data. Mileage, gas, anything you set it to, but only when it leaves the square, or vice versa, only when it enters the square. So geofencing is very important if you want to save data. You want to make sure maybe your vehicle is not going to a certain area. When it does, you want to start tracking that information. So it comes in handy in situations like that.
Does it send you an alarm when a vehicle leaves the fence?
It does. Area? It does. You can have it send you an alarm or not send you an alarm. I would recommend it you do since you're using the feature, but if you decide not to, you can always come back and check the data and see when and when not that the vehicle entered the geofencing area.
So this is very useful for delivery
yes.
companies.
Very, very useful.
Make sure their trucks are not leaving their territories.
Yes. Another very important feature is the intercom, the two-way audio. And just like a CB radio, it works very similar. You see the handset, you push the button, you're able to talk, you're also able to hear out of the same device, and that would transfer to your client software or your server, out of the speakers in your PC or your mobile device and the microphone. And like I said, it works just like a CB radio, and it keeps you in communication with your driver.
One question, does two-way audio conversations get recorded by the DVR?
Any information going through the DVR will be recorded. So yeah, it will be recorded. Like I said earlier, you can have the monitor function on it where you could listen to what's going on inside the cab, or you can have the broadcast where you can just speak and they won't be able to respond. So you have those three options: intercom, broadcast, and monitor.
So this unit may serve actually as a black box.
Correct. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so let's go over some of the sensors that are more important on this DVR. Mileage sensor, speed sensor, your fuel sensor, and your alarm sensors. And I'll show you exactly what they look like. So as you can see here, there's a multitude of sensors and reports that you can get back from your DVR, from just a quick report to how fast the vehicle's been going, input, output, alarm reports, meaning the device actually hooks up to, it has 8 output low voltage sensors, door, horn, stuff like that, and you can get reports from those alarms going off. Then you have a whole alarm report section on its own. Summaries, GPS, like we talked about a panic button, the emergency button if it's been pushed, if the door's been opened when it's not supposed to, video loss, G sensor, fatigue. If the person starts to swerve, it'll give you a report back how long they've been driving at night. The DVR does have a UPS capability, so if the UPS cuts out, it'll give you a report. Power, main power is another important one. Storage report, how much data you have left on your device. Upgrade reports, if it's in need of an upgrade, maybe the hard drive's bad, wiring is going bad, it gives you a report on that. Fuel consumption. Parking report, how long has your driver been parked? Of course, we talked about the geofencing, and there's a report for it. And 3G flow, which meaning how much data have you been using, which is very important when it comes time to pay that data bill for your devices. So here's an example of what a report would actually look like. Like I said, you can always export it to an Excel sheet, which is graphed out for you. But here's a fuel sensor report, and you can see here the vehicle, all its positions, when it stopped, how long it stopped, how long did it go, and did they fill up in any gas? And no, they didn't fill up in any gas, so we know that. We know exactly where they were and how long it took them to get there and mileage. So yeah, it's basically just a quick example of what it looks like.
And also you mentioned a mobile app.
Yes.
It's called CMS6.
CMS6, and it's free. It's available on the App Store and Google Play. And it's very similar to the actual CMS Client software. And you can see in the picture you have multiple vehicles. The green ones are moving, red ones are not. Basic, you log into your server. Always your server is your central login. You always log into your server, even if you're on the client. You always log into the server. And then you see you can either go to your maps and track your vehicle, or see actual video that's going on in the camera. And so here's a picture of both of those. Here's the maps, GPS tracking, and you can see that there's a video option. You click that video, it'll take you directly to the video picture, and you're able to see what's going on in the camera.
Okay, so it looks like I'm going to go over here a few questions very briefly here. Okay.
You have a lot of questions today.
All right, we'll review up here. I'll scroll up to start where we left off. Okay, looks like okay, first we'll start off by responding to, I mentioned that the sensor data can be transmitted 3G. What about video? Can that be reviewed or viewed live?
Yes, it can be viewed live. That's up to you if you want to use that mobile data. Obviously, it's a lot more data to push than just the sensors, but definitely you can do it live.
Okay, another question about geofencing. We went over that. Here, Don asked, any charge to use Google Maps on our server?
No, there's no charge to use Google Maps. It's part of the server, it's part of the app, and it's part of the DVR. So, yeah, it's free.
Looks like Robert also asked, can you review while the DVR is still recording?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Don asked again, can I sell this solution as a dealer and host different company and their vehicles on a server that I maintain for them?
Sure you can. Because you can have up to 5,000 vehicles on 2 servers. Yeah, that's definitely something you can do.
Erica asks, can the data from the back-end system be fed into another system? Do you have an existing API for feeding data?
I would have to have more information in terms of what type of system you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure it can be fed into another system.
How long will the data be stored before it is purged from the DVR? Does that happen automatically, or does a system administrator have to manually clear the logs?
So that's the beauty of having a server as your central login, because the DVR will not hold it. The DVR will only hold video data, and all the other data is being pushed to the server via your 3G connection. So the server holds all the information.
Mike asked, can you have more than one geofence? If so, can it track separately by geofence?
Yes, it can, and you can have multiple, yes.
Do you know the maximum amount of geofences you can?
There's no limit as to as many you can fill the whole map up with geofences if you want. So they're basically just boundaries that you want to have to track data.
Okay, it looks like Aziz asked, can data be saved at a remote location?
It is saved at a remote location. It's saved on a remote server. If you want to move that data, that is entirely up to you, but it is on a remote location always. That's why we need a server.
The server is in one location, and you can access the server
anywhere
from
else.
anywhere.
Yeah.
But as far as local storage, it goes into the
Correct.
home server.
Correct.
And then can we have white label?
Can you elaborate on that, Aziz? Let's move on to, you guys feel free to ask more questions. Let's move on to some frequently asked questions about these mobile DVRs. We already answered this. It's 128 gigabyte maximum, and the 3G models have two slots.
Two SD card slots, 128 each, so a total of 256 gigs on the SD models.
What type of SIM card is required?
It's a very, very good question. SIM card, WCDMA or EVDO. So basically, that's the majority of our SIM cards here in the United States. You'll be able to enter into the device.
So any carrier that will give you a 3G SIM card?
3G, WCDMA, and EVDO. So little different EVDO is, which is like Sprint, Verizon, yeah.
And for your information, we get asked about 4G and 4G cards. Next month, we are going to have a 4G model available.
Oh, great.
Okay, but of course, there's limitations. Not every area has a 4G network.
Correct.
3G is that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, it's pretty robust. Although 4G is growing tremendously, so, and the data with being pushed on 4G now is so great that, I mean, it's like up to 20 megs in some places.
What sensors are included in the base model and which ones are optional?
Okay, so sensors that are included. Basically, sensors are on a request basis. Any sensor that you want is a separate item, and that is entirely up to you on what sensors you want to have with your mobile DVR.
So it's an a la carte basis.
A la carte basis.
What comes with it though is the GPS antenna.
GPS, basically your network peripherals. So GPS on all of them. If you order 3G or Wi-Fi, you'll get one of those.
The 3G antenna.
Yeah.
So how much data does one mobile DVR or many consume while pushing data to the server?
Okay, so when we're talking about sensors, stuff like that, you're looking at maybe as much as maybe a text message. It's not much. But in terms of video and audio, a D1 connection can be up to 1 meg per camera, and audio about 8 kilobytes. So if you do the math, you're looking at 4 megs at a 4 camera system, and a little bit more for pushing it. So let's say 5 megs a second. Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping up, I think we've covered all the main features and functions of our mobile DVR solutions along with the cameras. and yet we're excited to have this type of solution with all the functions and features that it has. Feel free to ask a question, guys.
Looks like we have one here. Does the screw on the back cover make the wiring vandal-proof? Is it optional or included?
So the screw in the back does not make it vandal-proof because you can just take that screw off. But it does provide some protection of the wiring and make it look a little cleaner. So.
Okay, another question is, can we sell under our company brand name? And do you recommend a specific SD card brand?
Not really. I mean, of course, you would like to get the better brands to better secure your data. But there's no specific brand that is recommended or that we really push.
Looks like another question by Barry. Is this also offered as NVR with IP cameras?
No, we do not have an NVR mobile solution. Yeah, I don't know if there's one coming in the future. I don't know if anyone out there has one.
I'd say bandwidth would probably be an issue with that.
Bandwidth would definitely be an issue. It's enough on a regular NVR, so yeah.
For pricing questions, feel free to contact your Bolide rep.
Any more questions or concerns? Well, in that case, we'd all like to thank you. Oh, warranty and audio in and out.
Warranty, all of our products, all Bolide products are covered with a 3-year manufacturer's warranty.
As for audio in and out, like we talked about the intercom system, there's also, aside from the intercom system, the wiring harness does have a audio out wiring for if you want to hook speakers up, aside from the handset. So yeah, audio in and out is definitely a possibility.
Carlos asks, how do you connect the power to the unit?
So you connect it to your battery, or you can run it through a UPS in case you turn the vehicle off and you want to have some limited power still going on once it loses power. You can hook a UPS up to it, but pretty much it goes through your battery and your ignition.
Don asks, temperature range, extreme heat and cold.
There is a temperature range. I don't have it with me, but I can definitely have
10 degrees.
Is it?
Yeah.
10 degrees. Is it cold? Minimum?
Yeah. We'll get back to you on that question.
Yeah, we'll definitely have it for you in a few minutes.
Okay. Any more questions? All right, then. Well, at this point, then, we'd like to thank you for attending.
Online demo. Do you have an online demo for this unit?
We will have an online demo today, by the end of the day. We do have it hooked up here at the office. I just need to plug the Ethernet port into it. So yeah, by the end of the day, we will have an online demo, and I'll get with all the reps and make sure they have the IP address. You will need to download the client software, and I'll also provide a link to them so they can give it to you, and you guys will be able to demo that by the end of the day.
All right. In that case, once again, thank you for joining us on this webinar. We will go ahead and post this up on our YouTube page so you can see it at a later time. Thank you so much for attending.